Hey Algebra 2 students, I hope you are all well. Today I wanted to go over a few questions that I've heard about the practice test. So somebody had a question on number 6, which says, write an explicit rule for the nth term of the geometric, or of the sequence. And it says 64, 48, 36, and 27. You have to look at that and you have to see what kind of pattern is going on. Is it addition, subtraction? So is it an arithmetic sequence, or is there some multiplication going on, making it a geometric sequence? So, I first subtracted and noticed, what, the difference is not the same. So then I thought, well, let's take one and divide it by the other. When I take 64 and divide it by 48, I get, I think it's 1.3 repeating, which is 4/3. But we want to take the reciprocal of that, right? Because you're multiplying 64 by 3/4 then to get the 48. And if you multiply 48 by 3/4, you'll get the 36. And again, if you multiply 36 by 3/4, you'll get 27. So you can see your first term is 64. Your common ratio is 3/4. So if you're looking for a geometric sequence, an explicit rule, that's a sub n times is equal to, a sub 1 times r to the n minus 1. And so we substitute in the 64 for a sub 1 and 3/4 for r, and we get our formula a sub n equals 64 times 3/4 to the n minus 1 power. The next question, I think, was on number 10. Which I believe it says, write the first 6 terms of the sequence, and it gives you a sub 1 equals 4, and a sub n equals a sub n minus 1 plus 5. And so we just need to write the first 6 terms. So your first term, they give it to you, a sub 1 is 4, and you just plug that right in there. And then you would add 5 to the previous term to get the next term. So 4 plus 5 is 9. 9 plus 5 is 14. 14 plus 5 is 19. 19 plus 5 is 24. Plus 5 is 29. And so that's how you do question 10. And then number 12, which infinite geometric series has a sum? It's the second one there, right? The 1 plus 1/2 plus 1/4 plus 1/8. Because we're multiplying by 1/2 for the next term in the series and for all the consecutive terms. And because 1/2 is less than 1, we know that this will converge to a sum, whereas the others will not. The next question was on question 13. Write 0.272727 ... as a fraction in simplest form. Well, they want you to treat this as a sum, right? So it equals 0.27 plus 0.0027 plus 0.0000027. Anyway, the r is 1/100th, and the a sub 1 is 0.27. And so we use the formula s equals a sub 1 over 1 minus r, and we plug in the values. So for a sub 1, it's 0.27. For r, it's 0.01. That simplifies to 0.27 over 0.99, which is the same as 27 over 99, which can be simplified further to 3/11. 3/11. Some people had difficulty with question 14. It said to write a recursive rule for the sequence x plus y, 3x plus 4y, 5x plus 7y, 7x plus 10y, etc. Well, what's your first term? Your first term, your a sub 1, is x plus y. Your second, well, your a sub n then, it needs to be a recursive rule. So it'll be a sub n equals a sub n minus 1 plus something. Well, what's going on between the first term and the second term? They're adding 2x, they're adding 4y. 3y rather. Does that continue for the next term? Yes, they add 2x and 3y again and again and again. So your formula would be a sub n equals a sub n minus 1 plus 2x plus 3y. Let's see. There was also a question on 15. Let's see. Write a recursive rule for the sequence x, 2x, 3x, 5x, 8x, ... Well, this was a tougher pattern to observe because you end up adding the first two terms together, right? So a sub 1 is x. That's just your first term. So you should get that easy. A sub 1 is x. A sub 2, that's your second term, right? They also give that to you. It's x. A sub n. Well, what's going on with a sub 3? How do they get the 2x? They get that by adding the first two terms, right? And to get the 3x, they're adding the two previous terms. And to get 5x, they're adding the 2x and 3x. To get the 8x, they're adding the 3 and the 5. And so with this, a sub 1 would be x, a sub 2 is x, and a sub n equals a sub n minus 1 plus a sub n minus 2. And, you know, the order doesn't really matter with that. If you have a sub n minus 2 plus a sub n minus 1, that would also be a correct answer. Okay. 16 says there are 7 seats in the first row of a theater, 9 seats in the second row, 11 seats in the third row. This pattern continues for each row in the theater. Write a rule for a sub n, the number of seats in the nth row. I'm sorry, you can hear Ralphie barking. So this is 7, 9, 11, 13. What's going on here? They're adding 2 seats each row. The first row, or a sub 1, will be 7, right? So this is an arithmetic sequence, right? So we want to do a sub n equals a sub 1 plus n minus 1 times d, where d is your common difference. So a sub n equals 7 plus n minus 1 times 2. And then you would distribute the 2 and then subtract the 2 from the 7, and you get a sub n equals 5 plus 2n. For each week, for 17, each week you deposit money into a savings account. And the first week you deposit $8 in the account, and each week you deposit $2 more than you deposited the week before. How much do you have saved after 12 weeks? You could do this a fancy way. I did not. No, it's 12 weeks. I just did 8 plus 10 plus 12 plus 14 plus 16 plus 18 plus 20, etc. I did that. I made sure I had 12 numbers written down, and I added them up in my calculator, and that's $228. Bam. I think there was one more question. I don't think it was this one or this one with the birds. I think people had a question on 20. I have calculated this one multiple different ways and have not gotten the answer that they say is correct. So we're going to eliminate that from the test. I hope you agree. We will eliminate this one. All right. I hope I answered some of your questions. Let me know. Good luck.